My name is Berto Edwards. I'm from Earlham College, and I just wanted to say we're all very grateful to be here with you. I was wondering, how do you separate actions from the actor? Say, for example, if someone's actions make you angry, how do you separate that and maintain compassion towards that person?
Oh, that's quite clear. Action, actor. Actor is concerned, human being. So we need loving kindness towards actor. Then action is concerned, sometimes we need countermeasure to stop. Like some of Chinese hardliner. As an actor, human brothers, sisters, they also need loving kindness. So in our mind, no differences, Tibetan, Chinese, we all brothers, sisters, we all want happy life. But action is concerned, sometimes we need countermeasures to stop. That also, in our case, through understanding, not through weapon, through understanding. So through dialogue. So, actor is concerned, actually our loving kindness, genuine loving kindness towards enemy, that's genuine loving kindness. Towards your friend is much mixed with attachment. Okay. So loving kindness, for practice of loving kindness, best teacher is your enemy. Try to develop loving kindness towards your enemy. That's genuine loving kindness. I think animal cannot do that. Only we human beings, with this brain, we can do towards enemy. Action sometimes need counter sort of the action. But as an actor, we must keep loving kindness. With that, try to solve this problem through dialogue. So sometimes I describing this 21st century should be century of dialogue. Whenever we find some differences, through talk, not through weapon. Okay.
Tashidek, my name is Evan Saito. I'm also a student at Earlham College in the United States. Your Holiness, a concern that I have for my community in the United States is the issue of political polarization and disunity. Your Holiness, my question for you is, in your experience, what is some advice that you could perhaps give to the younger generation in terms of maintaining unity in difficult times? Thank you.
I think use human wisdom, human intelligence, and look not through one dimension. One dimension, you can't see the whole picture of the whole picture. We must look any event from 3 dimensions. Or even you see from above, from below, four dimension or 5 dimension, like that. Unless you know the reality fully, your action become unrealistic action. So firstly, when you study about the reality, at that time, your mind should be very neutral. whatever the reality you want to see or to know. So 3-4 dimensions. Then you get the fuller picture about the reality. Then action become more realistic action. Action through too much emotion, just one-sided. I love this, and then action biased. I do not love this, action unbiased. So creates more trouble. Although try to reduce problem, but because you just look one-sided and your effort, unrealistic effort. I feel like that. So I think Buddhist Nalanda tradition, we study all different school of thought. That is, you see, in order to know Buddhist philosophy, it is necessary to know non-Buddhist different school of thought study. So similarly, economy field or political field, I think we should firstly our mind more neutral and then analyze the reality. Then with fuller understanding about the reality, then pursue that method, become realistic method. Okay. One time in Delhi, some Indian, they complained something. And then I told them, oh, you should start demonstration. If you organize demonstration, I will join. One occasion in Delhi. So like that, sometimes demonstration also is useful with clear picture, not too much emotion, but real sort of reasonable or realistic sort of message. And then nowadays in modern time, I think demonstration also I think useful. Okay, next.
Tashi Dele. My name is Shani Gernspan, and I'm also from Earlham College in the United States. My question to you is, well, in the past you have mentioned that you're a professional laugher, and so I would like to know what your favorite joke is.
I think generally Tibetan people, I think more jovial. Some Chinese visitors who visit Tibet, they also notice that as a Tibetan generally more jovial, smiling, like that. Then I always was mentioning my first teacher of warm-heartedness or compassion is my mother. She really, I think her children, my brothers, sisters, we all never see mother's angry face. Always smile, very kind. So I think that also, I think one factor. I sort of grown up with that kind of atmosphere. And then Tibetan generally jovial. Then also is my own practice, altruism. My daily practice, as soon as I wake up, altruism, thinking altruism. So as a result, whole phenomena appears something positive. Because 다그들이 껴봐 탐지기 장은 로 대신이다니 바로 때를 저도 배신이 다들 선민다서 가오리키스 you should translate now.
Would you like to try?
Yes.
Shantideva says this prayer or this verse where he says, today in the presence of all the Sugatas or the Buddhas, I call upon all sentient beings as my guests for the ultimate achievement of enlightenment, Sugatahood, and in the meantime also the happiness while on the path to that enlightenment.
So as a practitioner, altruism, sometimes I saw wrathful deities, I feel laughing. The wrathful deities, you see, it indicates there are also some negative force to destroy. No. Entire 7 billion human beings are our mother-centered being. All want happiness. So now, since few years, when I give some blessing,
Like in rituals,
some rituals, usually at the beginning,
in certain rituals like long life ceremonies or initiations, we have the practice of driving away the so-called evil forces.
So since now last few years, I do not practice that. If there is some negative force, some demons there, we should welcome. As our dear friend, should not consider negative and expel. And sometimes I feel over 1,000 years, all Tibetan Lama expel all these negative forces, but not much effective. It is much better. Bring together. Come, welcome. These are sentient beings, want happiness, do not want suffering. So it is our guest, not enemy. Okay, next.
Yes.
Yes, Your Holiness. My name's Nick from Chicago, and I feel a lot of inspiration from Aryatara, and I was wondering if you could give us a few words of how to learn from her compassion in the study of Dharma.
Aryatara.
In the study of Dharma and in life, how we can learn from Tara's compassion.
I think Tara, we should not consider something individual sentient being, no, or sort of individual God or goddess. Tara is the manifestation of Buddha's action. Our Lokuteshvara, Shanasi, manifestation of Buddha's compassion. The Manjushri, Buddha's manifestation of wisdom. So these are not individual as deities or something. So Tara as Buddha's manifestation of Buddha's action. So we consider with sort of recitation of Tara's mantra, Om Tare Tudare Turi Soha, or Om Tare Tudare Turi Soha. Now that mantra, with that mantra, we can use for long life, and also we can recite that for because of the reduced illness, like that. So even you see you want the more dollar, they pray to Tara. I want more Tara, more dollar. Kada these tantric different deities, kada Shiva, Gyava, Wang, Chaku, 3원 정도가.
Yes. So based on the practice of, practices which are based on these tantric deities, through them, what you can achieve are these 4 different, what are called activities: peaceful, extensive, and then wrathful and subjugation.
Then I think, unfortunately, in Tibet, sometimes you see, use this, but
Sometimes in Tibet, the tantric practices are used to as a black to cast black spell on others, black magic.
So, the
Yes. Therefore, it's very important for us to be able to differentiate between the general structure of Buddhism and then the specifically tailored teachings.
The other day also I mentioned the Kansa Gwazen Sungshaw in Gabrishimuj Tangdur She.
So on Saturday, when His Holiness was giving a talk at the Tibetan Buddhist congregation, he mentioned that we have taken so much interest in the specialized teachings, which are specifically taught in the tantric teachings, whereas we have kind of neglected the general teaching of the Buddha.
Without understanding general Buddhist teaching, impossible to practice these kasota tantric practice.
No.
So after I came to India, I think perhaps early in the 60s, I suggested all the monastery who carry some of these, also the tantric practice, this is not sufficient. All these monastery should start serious study, and including nuns, they also should study. It's quite clear. Without full knowledge about the Buddha Dharma, including Buddhist philosophy, then just visualize one deity and recite mantra, not much effect. Sometimes with sort of negative emotion, that whole practice can be kasota tipasaya nyakato.
No, could be used to create negative actions.
One Tibetan Lama used to express, I think maybe 2 generations ago, yes.
So this Lama has said that by reciting the mantras so many times, instead of being able to reduce or your negative emotions, you may wear out your nails.
So you see, some people who sort of years recite, so their nail something kasota.
No. So because of reciting mantras, using the malas so many times, their nails got worn out.
But negative emotion sometimes Yes.
And when you do this kind of tantric practice, for example, 3 years and 3 month practices, sometimes instead of really being able to transform yourself, you could become very haughty.
So since then I ask all monastery should pay more study about the basic Buddhist teaching. And then on top of that, some their ritual practice of rituals and these things. Okay, without knowing that, and then it easily become like the Hindu rituals, like that. So these different sort of even sort of veins and control breathing, these are common. Hindus, Buddhists, same. So differences. The Hinduism meditate as the soul or self, something completely separate from this body and mind. So it is also useful to explain life after life. Body not come from previous life, but the soul, something separate, something independently separate, that same, no beginning, no end. So explanation about rebirth on that viewpoint, very easy. The Buddhist, we should explain the body and mind. Body, mind, both grosser level, more subtle level, innermost subtle level. Innermost subtle level, then the mind, you see, also, you see, the both body and mind, you see, momentarily changing. Therefore, it must, you see, causes. And there are causes, substantial cause and cooperative cause.
Cooperative conditions.
So at the beginning of conceptual, the physical cause, parent, then further goes before also the human body that has not yet developed. Then just, you see, the kasota, we call space particle, no beginning, no end. Whole universe, galaxies come from that particle. Then gradually, one particle combine more sort of particles. Then different shapes, these come. And similarly, the same particle, space particle, some then eventually become the basis of consciousness. But consciousness itself, you see, the
has its own
substantial cause. It should be same nature. So a physical particle never become substantial cause, but cooperative. Similarly, mind also, you see, from a substantial cause must be same nature, consciousness. So through that way, we can explain the subtle mind, no beginning, no end. But easier, the Hindu belief, Atma, is useful. But when Buddhists no separate, independent self, so self is designated on the combination of physical and mind. Both physical and mind, grosser, as I mentioned earlier. So therefore, the subtle mind, no beginning, no end.
Then the Quran, Jizun Drama, Jizun Drama, Jituji, Jizun Drama, Jizun Drama, didn't.
So now, the yoga practice, breathing practice, these are common. Hindus and Buddhists, same. Many years, sometime back, I think at least 10 years, I met some Hindu tantric practitioner at Gorakhpur. You see, when we discuss the many tantric practice, we have same. And for example, yoga practice. these things. And also the chakra, and Chandalini, Kundalini, same. The differences, their whole practice based on concept of Atma. Buddhist, Anatma. That's make differences. Otherwise, you see these tantric practice, similar, like that. And Paul Tuju said here,
so, having had discussions with this Hindu practitioner in Gorakhpur, he's also learned that they also have the practice of projecting your mind out of the body and transferring it into another body.
So now, I emphasizing important to study the general Buddhist concept, including Shunyata and Bodhicitta. That's very important. Then next. That's all right. So now study is very, very important. We human beings, this brain is something really marvelous. So in order to fully utilize human intelligence, knowledge is very important. Now knowledge, there are 3 levels. First level is knowledge from hearing. There's something you hear or from someone or explain to you, or read book and some understanding, some knowledge. Now on that basis, we must utilize our intelligence. Think, analyze. That brings conviction. Then with conviction, then familiarize, then actual transformation or experience come. So these are have to go according to law of causality. Even Buddha's mind must come with causes, conditions, not come. Kurang nane chudaya peche, and lama jari, and lama dinga, tabadarana, shuduzan, lama digi, nga dama tumu use, nin gomna, nin sangja, chan gomna, chan sangja, gande letu chen, gomikuba sangja, dama yusumuri, and it is a milo station. Tanga, Yama Tuluni, Lalo station, that Sanji Kumatuya, Nin Gomna, Nin Sanja, Sangona, Sanja, Gande Letujan, Gomiku Sanja, that the Dick Tabashore, that another bit shy away in Gon, in some shoes. In a Sani di Lamajis, Karchum store, Kakemuzushi, and a Lamadi, or that Jura, Nair La Kaya, the Remindus, and a Marbezal Gusuni, and a Marba Jenny to push Yantua. Dictive Joya to Darling, Gang and Shiviste. Then in a shine. That pitches all the sound of it, and sound of it, Tamati to Sonche. And Kandachik double paper it.
So Chetan Milarepa went to one Lama. He actually ran away from his home and went to a Lama. And this Lama told him that and asked for some instructions, spiritual instructions. And then the Lama said, I have certain instructions by which you can become, if you meditate and cultivate the practices within yourself, you could become enlightened. If you do it in the daytime, you can become enlightened in the daytime. If you do cultivate this in night, you can become enlightened in the night. And so before that, Chetan Milarepa, because he had already achieved some kind of a magic, black magic, he thought that, and then the Lama also said that, so for someone who actually has the strong karmic imprints for such practice, he could become enlightened in the day or the night. And so Chetan Milarepa thought that because he had, accomplished become accomplished in black magic, he thought he must be someone of a very a great capacity, and therefore, without doing any meditation, he just slept. And the next day, when he went to the Lama, and the Lama asked him what kind of experience he had, he said nothing. And so then the Lama said, "You are somebody whom I cannot help, so maybe you can go to Marpa." And therefore, Jazimila Rebbe went to Marpa Lotawa, the great translator, and then Marpa, after meeting him, Jazimila Rebbe had to go through all those hardships, and suffered a lot under the tutorship of tutelage of the Marpa, and then finally he was able to purify himself, and Marpa also Marpa Lotawa also gave him lots of instructions, and particularly maybe instructions which came from Goya Samaja Tantra. And so by following those instructions and practicing day and night, finally Jazimila Rebbe became very highly realized.
I think 3 days ago, so one morning, I have very clear kind of dream. First, Marpa, then his teacher Naropa, and his teacher Telopa, then the Guisamanza. Sevashucho.
So His Holiness had this dream of Goya Samaja and deity, and it was a very vivid dream.
Okay. Now, picture.
First, we'll do the Erlen group. So, Erlen group, if you come up, please.